We're here.
All right, greetings,
Ladies
everyone.
and gentlemen, it's my name is Sergeant Grease Mixer. I'm joined here by Joshua Does and Casual Devil. Say hi, fellas.
Hi. How's it going,
Hello.
everybody?
We might accidentally talk over each other a lot. It happens. It's a voice call.
Yeah,
You can
man.
see to the right of our usernames, which have not updated for some reason, but it's all right. You have links to each individual Discord. Keep those in mind throughout the podcast. The end is near is Casual Devil's Discord. Of
Yep.
JD is Joshua Does' Discord, and the Grease Pit is mine. Do greetings to those who are watching live on Twitch right now, and those who will be watching the recording on YouTube later tonight. So this is our first actual attempt at a podcast. We've tried many times, but we're pretty confident this one is going to last. So
Yeah, man.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, what do we got first thing on our list tonight, Grease Mixer?
The list that we have presented for today is a quite diverse list of topics here. We're gonna try to start off with a list of classic horror films and going over those. It's gonna be real nice. After that, The Walking Dead Season 9, which recently started back up this Sunday. We're going to be lightly brushing over that. Buying pumpkins and carving them was a topic that we thought would be nice to cover.
For
Along with the
Halloween.
release of Call of Duty Black Ops 4 coming up on Friday.
Halloween.
Horror games, and then we will end the podcast off strong with Shane Dawson's The Mind of Jake Paul. So we got a pretty nice podcast planned out here today.
So,
Yeah, man.
now that we have the topics out of the way, there's a special channel that's about to appear in the Grease Pit, which is also named Podcast. It's a text channel. If you're not in the Twitch chat for whatever reason, like if you don't have an account, you can chat there, talk about what's happening, and that goes live now.
Yeah. Now you're able to
Slow
chat.
mode is on to prevent any spam. Please read the rules that we have provided. Message every 10 seconds.
Yeah.
That being said, let's jump right into it with our first topic being classic horror films.
Oh yeah, dude. So on the general list that we have, you got like pretty much fucking the Invasion of the Body Snatchers. You know, both the original and the remake that was made in 1978. So have you guys ever watched that?
I personally have not. I haven't actually heard of it.
Oh shit,
So
really?
The Invasion of the Body Snatchers was a pretty good horror movie from what I recall.
It was pretty spooky. It had a lot of body horror into it. You know, the practical effects for it were pretty decent in some parts. Other parts you could clearly tell it was very poorly made.
Yeah.
But the concept for Invasion of the Body Snatchers was very, very scary.
The whole idea of people, basically, for those of you who are watching right now who are not familiar with this work, which I suggest you actually watch. It's a good movie for this time of year. It's the exact description here is: in San Francisco, a group of people discover the human race is being replaced one by one with clones of devoid of emotion.
Clones of devoid emotion, and does this fucking ear piercing, whenever they spot an outsider. So,
oh man, it was great.
yeah, it was pretty nice. I mean, I generally get a little bit of shivers every once in a while looking at it. And what was surprising about the whole thing was how much it was able to go beyond, because it originally invaded a dog, I believe, in the start of the movie, and then it went on from there, from person to person to a whole town, eventually a whole city, and then it started spreading out its seeds, like fungus or whatever, across nations, through ports and stuff like that. So it's pretty spooky stuff. It had a parallel to a communism, I believe.
Yeah.
So what we could do always is go into some classics, some things that people would automatically think of, such as dare I say it, Friday the 13th and
oh, that's a good series.
Friday the 13th
are two great ones that everybody thinks of right off the bat.
All right, I'm gonna go into a little bit of spoiler territory when it comes to Friday the 13th. So for those of you who haven't watched it, either cover your ears or just get spoiled. I was really disappointed to understand that the killer was Jason's mother father and not Jason himself. You know, it wasn't until the second movie where Jason Voorhees actually became the star as the serial killer. You know, in Camp Clear Lake or something like that.
Something like that. It's been a
Yeah,
while.
something like that. Yeah, it's been a long while. But yeah, Friday the 13th was a pretty good movie. I mean, it started the whole genre of like kind of campy horror, but it was a nice genre.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Anyways, out there onto that about Friday the 13th. Have you guys ever seen the Fog?
No, maybe.
It's like a James no, not James, John Carpenter film.
Edwall
same
Rock
dude.
asks, "Hey, are your expectations lower for the coming? I think it's already here. Hurricane Michael. Like Florence was very disappointing, and I just want to know what you're thinking, since I think we're both getting wind at this point. Yeah, it's been pouring, it's been pouring down rain where I'm at all day.
Yeah,
so,
same here.
I don't even really what people are talking about as for hurricanes and stuff. Like, whatever's going to happen is happen, and whatever's going to happen is going to happen, and worrying about it isn't really going to solve anything. So I just try to keep my mind off of it.
Same.
Yeah, man. It's gonna be doomsday, gloomsday eventually one of these days. It's gonna be a big hurricane too. It's like gonna be like Katrina, spooks. So.
Witch Project. There we go. There's Blair Witch Project.
Oh yeah.
How did we not touch on Blair Witch Project, guys?
It's been a while since I've seen it, but when I did watch it, I thought it was pretty good. Like, from the kind of direction it took with being a movie.
Well, personally myself, I didn't really get too much of like spooks watching it.
Yeah, it wasn't all that scary.
Yeah, it wasn't all that scary, but when it originally came out in 1999, the Blair Witch Project was pretty meta, because people really did not know if that was an actual found footage thing or something that was just like a hoax. And so when at the end of the credits, when the site came up, people were like, like flipping their shit because they were thinking like, oh shit, dude, was this actually found footage? Oh man,
it was one of the very first that brought to life the whole found footage horror movie.
Well, I mean, like it was one of the first to popularize it. Before that, there was the Cannibal Holocaust, and that was about like an expedition team going to the Amazon and then getting like ransacked by like savages there.
Yeah.
And Cannibal Holocaust, as you can tell, they were cannibals. So, in fact, surprisingly, there's a little bit of trivia behind it about the director actually getting arrested, right?
So.
Because because he thought, or not the thought, the police thought that like he actually recorded the murders of those actors.
Oh, I remember that. 'Cause
Yeah.
I think for a couple months or something like that, he actually had them in hiding so people would think the movie was real.
Yeah. So.
Sidewall Rock asks, Devil is here on the podcast. What program did you use to make the art for the waiting screen? Which is actually the art that is on screen right now.
Yeah. So the art that I used to make that was Adobe Photoshop. You can get yourself a free trial of it actually if you go to their site for I think like 7 days or something like that. So yeah, man.
And then
I used a bit of like custom brushes too. And you can kind of see the comparison before, because if you compare my sketch of what I did for myself, the brush strokes for it is kind of like a lot of like circular stuff, and so it doesn't really like kind of blend in as well. But then when you look at the custom brushes over there on the grease mixer's end, it's like, oh snap. So yeah.
And the other question is, do you ever use Krita?
Krita? I have not heard of Krita before. I'd have to look that up, what that program is. So, yeah, man.
On a short budget as well, yeah.
Krita. I have to look that up real soon.
I mean, you fellas got to realize MS Paint is for those low budget fellas.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with MS Paint. I've seen some people actually do paintings of freaking like Santa Claus, and it was like real realistic on MS Paint.
Yeah.
I saw that. Here, they pasted a link. I'm gonna go ahead and DM that to you now.
Oh yeah. Krita, painting, digital painting, creative freedom.
So,
Oh, okay. It's another program. I mean, I might check it out. I mean, I'm always down to like check out various programs.
yeah.
I was able to do a trade with I think a Draw X Angel with like Manga Art Studio or something like that, you know. And so yeah, but mainly my main program I use for doing all my art is a Photoshop. It just has so much versatility as to what you can do with editing, like the image, right? When it comes to like the contrast and the curves and also the channel mixer. I mean, it's a pretty advanced program to get into for beginners. But I mean, as you go down along the lines and learn more about the stuff, I mean, it's a very powerful beast. So yeah.
One other
So,
thing
while
that
we're
I
still
want,
on the topic, go ahead.
before we continue, one thing I do want to point out, if you're paying attention to the stream at all, the actual voice overlay and the Discord channel chat overlay, because of the issue with Discord a little bit ago that caused us to be a little late with the stream, it's also affecting that. So I'll have that up and working as soon as it's able to work. So,
Yeah.
Anyway.
With that being said, I'd like to, since we've kind of strayed away from the topic of horror movies here, what those of you who have actually seen it, if anybody have and anybody here has actually seen it, what about the new Alien movie?
Alien movie.
Don't think
Talking about
so.
Alien Covenant?
Predator.
Oh, the Predator. I wanted to watch it. I never got the opportunity to, however. You know, were you able to ever get the chance to?
Never made it. No.
Oh snap! I mean, like I like Predator. I liked Predator 2 a little bit more than the original one. You know, just because the concept for it was, I'd say, was a lot more interesting. You know, but for me personally, I've always been kind of leaning towards Alien than Predator. So I grew up watching Alien, and yeah.
And that completely. So, with that being said, I think we've pretty much covered as much ground as we could on horror movies. You think that, or?
I mean, there's a couple more classics, like cult classics here and there. You know,
We're just getting started. Let's go.
All right. So, like, for instance, you got yourself Hellraiser. You know, with a grand old pinhead. You know, talk about freaking like sadism and all that. You know, Hellraiser is a movie about all body gore. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, the first one was like pretty cool. You know, it involved around like this family and like the relative that I got this. I forgot the name of it, but it's a cube used to like access like the dimension that where all those freaking Cenobites are with the Leviathan and stuff like that. And so when the relative like activated the cube, you know, he was transported to another dimension. And pretty much like he felt ultimate pleasure and torture as well, you know. And it was just a pretty freaky movie. It was made by Clive Barker, you know. So you can kind of see where the how the art style was gonna be like. So yeah,
man, sounds nice. I don't think that I was ever exposed to that.
I mean, it's pretty good movie.
Joshua and the Promised Land.
I've never heard of that.
Please tell me that's a real movie.
It's more thriller than horror, but do y'all remember Cube? That was the one where they were confined in like these this big cube that had a ton of rooms that were booby trapped and such. Oh, wasn't it?
I unfortunately only saw bits of it. You know, when it comes to seeing the death scenes of it, and they're pretty gruesome.
Watching it when I was like 12.
Yeah, usually when I was 12, I actually watched a lot of J-horror. You know, I watched this one thing called like Norio the Curse, and it was a found footage, and it actually generally freaked me out because I didn't know if it was real or not, because they imitated like a whole bunch of news stuff and all that. So yeah. Also, your Kleinet guy just he died on us right now.
Did he really?
Yeah.
I'll fix it. I'll get it back up.
I'm seriously blaming Discord.
Rip Kleinet, dude. Can we get F in the chat?
F in the chat, please.
F in the chat for our music bot dying.
Can we get F in the chat? Yeah. One more movie I want to kind of like pick up on is Evil Dead. The second one, Evil Dead 2.
I haven't watched it yet. I've obviously heard of most
Oh,
of these, but I haven't watched them. Like,
bro, dude, you gotta watch Evil Dead 2, dude. It's
'cause-
it's a grand movie. You know, it was made by Sam Raimi, the same director who did all those Spider-Man films.
ooh,
And yeah,
I mean,
and his work there is pretty comical and also very gory. It's just good overall kind of horror comedy. So
yeah.
very nice.
I
Never
mean,
even never watched it.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Also,
I
as
mean,
a side
yeah.
note, because Sidewalk Rock, gave a question about Joshua and the Promised Land, and so from what I've understand of it, it just seems like a low budget like third party film. They try to cap off the success of like other kind of like like big titles that are in the theaters at the moment, and so
The thing I've noticed about like low quality films such as like Joshua and the Promised Land. Yeah, thank you for putting a image on the screen up of that lovely image. But one thing that I've noticed about low budget films is they can tend to be more scary than even movies that are intended to be scary. Like there's just something about low budget or low effort that's like chilling.
I mean, do you want to hear the summary of this movie on IMDb?
oh god, let's go for it.
A creepy spirit kidnaps a boy and forces him to relive stories of the Bible.
Oh, oh
Yeah.
no.
So, as you can kind of picture from that, I think that right there is for a horror story right there.
That's
Jesus.
It's uncanny. It's all uncanny. I bet
imagine
it
if
is.
it just fucking cuts to Revelations.
I mean, hey, that would be pretty dope, though. I mean, like, if it had a higher budget, because Revelation's a pretty cool chapter in the Bible.
Yeah, like there was a while back. I think I mentioned it to you two once, but I had a idea for a story where there's this teenage kid who's not the best kid in the world. He's kind of like a douchebag and stuff, but recently he starts trying to fix himself. And then in the midst of that, suddenly revelations from the Bible just happens in modern times. And he just has to. And it is kind of spoilery for the ending if I ever do write it, but like one of the ending parts of it is him actually going head to head against God, trying to stop the end.
Eee.
Yeah.
Maybe he's
So,
the Antichrist, Lamel. No, but like, the cool thing about Revelation is just like all the imagery that's described in there, like a freaking like 7-headed dragon, that's
Yeah,
like
it's
has something to
scary.
do with the stars and stuff. I mean, it's pretty cool. I mean, like that can
Yeah.
bring up a whole bunch of inspiration,
That kind of, if I were to do it as a movie instead of a story, I'd feel like a lot of it would be kind of like horror and gore, but there'd be parts where it's like kind of emotional comedy, things like that. Just
Yeah.
like,
Time it is.
and then just the ending is just epic
Pizza
as
time?
possible.
What time it is, fellas?
It's pizza time.
It's 8:40.
It's that time.
Don't hug me, I'm scared. Oh, I know what Grace is doing.
It's a real shame I don't really catch up too much with The Walking Dead.
Bean, there's still time.
There's still time, I just gotta binge watch 9 seasons of it,
Only 8
I mean-
seasons.
Yeah, because
Oh, yeah,
season
true,
9,
8
episode
seasons.
1 was Sunday, so.
What we're going to be talking about now. The Walking Dead season 9 just dropped. The pilot episode released on Sunday, and I'm willing to bet that most people in here aren't big fans of said show. Worth noting, myself and Joshua both really love the show.
Yeah.
So overall, we're not going to spend too much time on it. Mainly, this topic was just added so that we could bring in a special feature for somebody who ended up dipping.
Got him.
But overall, it's just what happened is overall they fired their previous showrunner because he wasn't doing so well with getting ratings up. Brought in a new one, and now their ratings are up again, and it's looking like a brand new horizon for a brand new show. They changed their intro for the first time in 8 years to mark that new territory.
I kind of like the new intro, if I'm being honest.
Ooh.
Because I pointed it out on Twitter when I saw it.
Ooh.
Pretty soon, we're probably not going to touch on The Walking Dead for a while on this podcast again, other than just bringing up that the season has started again.
Yeah.
Well, I will.
Is when the Whisperers come in.
Well, I will bring up one thing. However, when it comes to The Walking Dead, was that the horror game is going to be coming up real soon for it. You know, the Overkill's Walking Dead. So that's going to be interesting, nevertheless. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a real big, like, The Walking Dead fan. I do like kind of a little bit of, apocalyptic settings. So.
Yeah, Morse said, I heard one of the actors was going to star again, but died recently. Grace,
Joshua, do me a favor and put this image up on the stream for me, so we can cover that for a second. Actually, this man's name was Scott Wilson, who played in The Walking Dead seasons 4, and before as Herschel Green. His chopped off in season 4, and the actor was found dead earlier. So like to get an F in the chat for Scott.
That's a big picture. Yeah, that guy.
I'm gonna get that up. There we go. F in the chat.
Also, Sidewalk Rock says, I have so many things to say, but I probably shouldn't say it because they're not on topic, and I'm sad.
Aww.
So, sorry, buddy.
Say them, it doesn't matter. The topic is just the general bridge that we're going to try to stay on, but I mean, it doesn't matter. Just go ahead.
Yeah.
But it's a podcast. We don't have to stay entirely on track as long as the main topic is still kind of the subtopic.
Ooh, what is this? Hey, is this an IP grabber, dude? I'm gonna get my IP robbed. Okay.
Okay, no, I wish I had never seen it.
Oh my no. Oh nice. No. Let me just bring that up for you guys, because why not?
Freaking get the stream recorded for pornography and whatnot. I don't know.
I wouldn't call that pornography.
Oh no, yeah, I'm joking with that, but yeah.
Look at that.
Some guy's gonna be spurting on about saying like, "Oh, this is not safe." So yeah. I don't know. I mean, like Twitch rules are kind of like I don't really know too much about them, but from what I've understand, they're pretty kind of tight, with their regulation and stuff.
Yeah.
So.
We'll be fine.
That will be okay. Nice. Yeah, that is nice.
So anyway, a little bit back on track. We were going to discuss buying pumpkins and carving them.
Oh yeah, pumpkin buying. There's so many cool stuff like when it comes to like what artists have done for carving pumpkins. I actually plan on trying to get into the pumpkin carving artistry. So I don't know what I'm gonna do yet, but I like the results that you get from them. I like full blown images that are being lit up in the candle inside the pumpkin.
There's a meme I saw like some odd day ago. Yeah, that's similar to what I was looking for. Let me just put that up.
Yeah, I don't know. Like recently, I've been starting to enjoy pumpkins, and the general way that they are,
Yeah.
like the flavor of I don't know, because when it comes to fall time and October and November, I think pumpkins are like the best seasonal food to have. Just kind of like either in like a pumpkin pie or like your latte, whatever. If you like to drink soy, you know. So yeah, man.
I was never much into pumpkin carving. Strangely enough, I've only actually carved one jack-o'-lantern in my whole life, and that was when I was 12. I carved myself an Ultron in a pumpkin.
Nice.
Ultron and the pumpkin. That's actually kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to be trying to do something, when it comes to pumpkin carving. Probably more along the lines of like, maybe Freddy Krueger. I don't know yet.
Maybe.
You're gonna be. I mean, we're gonna be. With how smoothly this podcast has gone over, we'll probably be back next week. You can present.
Ooh, present it. All right, I'll take the challenge. I'll give a update on the pumpkin itself to see how it is.
Yeah.
We want to do what I would like to do. Everybody who is currently listening right now, when and if you do carve a jack-o'-lantern, you can go ahead and send that over to my DMs or Casual Devil's DMs or Joshua Does' DMs, and we will present them on the next podcast.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I'll have a whole playlist for it. Just look them through.
Just nice looking pumpkins. And be any pumpkin too. It doesn't have to be orange. You can like a little tiny white one,
What about? I'm not gonna go there on the podcast. Anyway. Yeah. It's been a while since I've carved a pumpkin, but I might do it this year if I have the money.
Yeah, man.
And the meme you see on screen right now, that's exactly what I'm gonna do.
Wait, how do you guys pronounce "oh whoa"? Sidewalk Rock says.
I say oh well.
No, I say fuck you, dude. No, it's kidding. Morse I says pumpkins are thick, and I agree, they are pretty thick.
It depends on which one you get, where you get it from, Walmart, Best Buy, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yes, I said Best Buy.
Got him. So yeah, you guys want to
getting your hands on some fresh pumpkins is picking them from a lot that's not yours.
That's the way to do it. So you guys want to move on to the next topic?
Sure.
Trying
All
to
right.
recall what the next. Oh yes, Call of Duty Black Ops 4.
Where do I begin? Black Ops 4. A friend of mine gave me.
Would be the zombie mode. Let's just start with the zombie mode.
The
Save
zombie
Black
mode.
Ops for last.
All right. Zombie mode. What are your expectations?
Can you actually put a video up on screen?
I can.
A video to go ahead and put up on screen, so we can
Yes.
look at what we're dealing with here.
I'll have the audio muted, but go ahead.
All right. I'm not really too big of a fan of the Call of Duty games. The last game I played from Black Ops was Black Ops 2. So I totally skipped out on 3.
Yeah.
But I'd say Zombies was generally like kind of like one of those like fun game modes to just kind of mess around with,
Yeah, I get you.
So as much as people apparently don't like Transit, I liked it. I think Transit was a fun
I
map.
thought Transit was genius with all these maps connected,
Yeah.
and it was fun. It was a lot of fun. It wasn't so fun when you got left behind, but it was fun.
If you're gonna do this, make an ASMR podcast.
Oh no.
God, that's gonna be terrible. An ASMR podcast. I can actually, with the microphone that I have, I can actually make it to be where it gets sounds from the side. So I could have it where it's playing like sounds on your left and right side of your earphones.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna put you through that torture.
So what we got here?
Also, Morse I has.
With Call of Duty Black Ops 4, what they've decided to do is drop campaign entirely. As in, Call of Duty Black Ops 4 will not have a campaign mode. Instead, saying blackout mode. Now, if you're someone like me, we pre-ordered Call of Duty Black Ops 4, and with that, we got time to we got a chance to test Blackout before it came out. And so
Sign in
with
to
that,
confirm your age.
I don't think we're showing that video anytime soon.
Got him.
essentially with the recent craze for Fortnite and PUBG with the Battle Royale mode, be the last one standing, Call of Duty decided to take that and make the best. Blackout mode brings together a bunch of previous multiplayer maps and zombie maps and give you this big world where you're the last one standing in a multiplayer match, and it's actually really good. And I'm looking forward to the official release of the game.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just kind of surprised that they actually got rid of the campaign. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
like, I know, like, I only know like a few people that have actually played the campaign of the COD franchise. You know,
I
but to
always
hear
play
that
the
it-
campaign.
yeah,
Stopped
but
playing the campaign in Black Ops 2. I stopped playing the campaigns because I was never a big fan of the whole futuristic vibe. I liked being like World War II was where it was at for me.
Yeah, I get you, but my main thing is, I guess it depends on the game. Cause like, for example, Call of Duty Ghosts, that campaign was okay for me. Infinity War, a lot of people hated the campaign for some reason, but I actually liked it for the story.
did you say Infinity War?
Infinity.
Yeah, I like Infinity War. It had a pretty good campaign. You know,
Infinite Warfare.
The Infinity War campaign was a real snap.
dude.
You know what? It's almost 9 o'clock at night, so
Hey, dude, it's 5 over here, man. So I got a couple hours of daylight.
well, good for you.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
Man, it's great. But with Call of Duty Black Ops 4, I do feel like they're genuinely trying. I haven't felt good about a Call of Duty in a very long time, but with Black Ops 4, I genuinely feel like they're pushing the envelope to be better than they were before, and I'm actually hopeful for what they've got in store for us.
Yeah, kind of friend of mine, friend of Grease's mostly, decided to give me a code to play Blackout on my laptop. It was actually a lot of fun.
Oh, nice.
I'm gonna go ahead and cover something that actually wasn't on the list today, because I think that this topic is better covered without prepped. What that topic is?
Yeah, sure.
It's actually World Mental Health Day.
Oh yeah,
Ooh.
that's today.
I did not know such days existed.
That could actually branch into another topic of ours, but World Mental Health Day.
Yeah.
So
With that being said, I'd like to make a PSA and remind everybody that your mental health is just as important as your physical health, and can sometimes be more important. So
100%.
don't push that stuff aside, and stay awesome.
Stay casual. That's what you gotta be. You know, live life, enjoy it,
Yeah,
and you know,
just be
be the best
yourself.
that you can be.
Quote, never thought I would be quoting unironically here. Tweeted out, if things get too much, you could always reach out to a friend or a relative.
Yep.
Whatever you're feeling, and it's important that you not let it boil up inside. Take care of yourself and don't ignore your mental health.
Well, there you go. Another PSA from everyone's favorite YouTuber, I guess. I don't know. What relatives?
Oh man.
Speaking of mental health, this image right here is going to question it. Sidewalk Rock has posted another Tumblr link, and if you want to check that out in the Twitch chat, you know,
I'm just gonna pull it up.
just pull it up.
That is haunting. That image is
Look
haunting.
at that.
I don't know what it reminds me of. Like I think of like a kind of like an evil like doctor scientist when I look at that, except like without any hair, without any hair, and it's just like limbs for his face.
I see Odin, I see a lion, I see an old dude, I see what's his face from Futurama, but not Red. I see a lot of things that I shouldn't.
I could kind of see a little bit of a line if it had like the bottom part of the mane.
Yeah, and I see a bunch of Barbie bodies.
Yeah, that's modern art for you. It's a ever since the Dada movement, it looks like what gains news in the art world is like stuff that shocks, and that's been going on ever since the
Genuinely
Dada
terrifying.
movement. Yeah, ever since the Dada movement in like the 1930s. How many pictures can you pull up at once? I don't know, and I don't
As
want to find out.
many as I want, but let's not.
No, we're not gonna fill the screen with horror. Gotta keep this clean and crisp. Sorry, Phil. Sorry, Philip. No.
Please. Sorry, Sadwell. We will put this up. It's on a bit of a semi-slideshow right now.
Ooh.
What do you feel about... Oh, it went back. Let's not do that.
Yeah.
I must say that is quite the sight to see.
Yeah.
So, on to the next topic: survival horror games. Since we're talking about video.
Already started covering that with the Walking Dead game that will be coming out later on this month for PC users and in February users.
Yeah, I'm talking about old survival horror games. I'm talking about PS2, era.
I still have Clock Tower. I still have Clock Tower 3 for PS2.
Oh,
That's
no.
nice.
Uh,
Yeah, for me, I got a nice little PS2 collection of horror games. I got Silent Hill 2 and 3, which are my personal favorite franchise.
I was about to bring up Silent Hill.
Oh yeah, I mean Silent Hill is great. I love the first original 3 games. A bit iffy about 4. Anything beyond like Homecoming is just bad. I mean Origins was okay, but anything beyond Homecoming was just bad. And can we get a big rip out to Silent Hills, because that's still resonating on the
Big
internet.
rip.
Yeah, seriously, dude.
There's
Freaking-
Go ahead.
Like, don't get me wrong, Death Stranding looks interesting, but I wanted to be Silent Hills, So hopefully something can come up, for
I
Konami.
personally can't wait for Death Stranding. Like it's a little slow going with what all they've teased so far, but from what has been teased, it looks like it's gonna be pretty interesting.
I mean, the open
especially-
world idea is pretty. It's pretty high quality.
Yeah. On
Graphic
top of
looks pretty
that,
decent.
the storyline that they're trying to go for seems like very symbolic of a bunch of things.
So, yeah, man.
And then
Another series kind of similar to Silent Hill is Siren. Kind of like it's not really that known outside the Japan, but it's pretty popular over there.
yeah,
It surrounds the premise of like a. It surrounds the premise about like a forest town, like a forest village, right?
Yeah.
That has this own kind of like customs and rituals that gets it summoned into like this like netherworld, and the undead come back to life, and yeah.
There's another survival horror game that the game or the demo PT that Konami was working on before
Yes.
that was canceled. It's
Yes.
heavily inspired by that, Silent Hill, Amnesia. It's got a lot of inspirations from it, and I'm just gonna pull up one of the images for it.
Yeah, definitely pull that up because that sounds very interesting. So any sort of inspiration for games that are inspired off, my favorite franchises, it's definitely worth a watch. Oh, that's a Siege, I think.
I
that
don't
right?
know how to pronounce it. Visage, and it's by Set Square Studios. And the design of the overall map is inspired by BT, while everything else like controls and monsters and stuff like that is based on Amnesia and Silent Hill and a couple others.
Interesting. All right. I mean, like, I wasn't really too big of a fan of like the kind of like cat and mouse horror games,
Yeah.
because I always found those like kind of a wee bit repetitive in my opinion, I always found like games like Resident Evil, like original Resident Evil, to be a lot more thrilling. You know, we have to do inventory management and like shoot down like monsters trying to get you, and powerful monsters for that matter that can overpower you very easily.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. Also, a game similar to Siren is Fatal Frame 2. You know, if you ever check that out.
Yeah.
So, Fatal Frame 2 is also another game on top of there. And also, I'd say Manhunt for a little bit. Although I wouldn't compare it to like the games like Silent Hill or anything, but I think Manhunt should be kind of given a bit of like spotlight. Just considering the fact of how like brutal it is. You know, it was it was a Rockstar game, so it was similar to GTA. But the way that they performed violence, and kills in that game were pretty brutal.
Yeah.
Caused a lot of controversy.
It just honestly kind of depends.
Yeah.
To say, fellas, one horror game that always chilled me to the bone, at least when I was younger, was
I swear to God, if you say Five Nights at Freddy's. You were, weren't you?
The FNAF, dude.
I was not gonna say Five Nights at Freddy's. I was about to bring up Clock Tower again, and it lost on me. But I mean, if I was gonna joke about it, I'd just say that Minecraft scares me because boy, oh boy, is Herobrine a scary person.
There was actually a Herobrine mod a while back that actually added in the lore to everything and brought him in, and he acted based on the lore. As a kid, it kind of spooked me, but I'm just like, what the fuck was I on?
Herobrine. Yeah, I never really bought into like Herobrine, although I really did like the concept of it.
It's a good concept for such a game.
Yeah, I mean, when you're all alone in a single player world and then see another entity, right?
Yeah.
Although there's no coding whatsoever in the game that can confirm such existence for Herobrine.
The only thing, eventually Notch kind of like started playing into the joke, and he started adding removed Herobrine and the Changeless.
Yeah, I remember those.
Discussing Herobrine.
Heck yeah, dude. That's what a podcast is, you know.
We discuss everything. Hold
Yeah,
up.
let me bring up something better. Resident Evil 4.
Ooh.
Yeah, Resident Evil 4. It came out on the Xbox 360 and PS3, but there was also a PS2 copy of it. You know, obviously the graphics, were kind of put res down a bit, but
Yeah.
it was a pretty solid port. It was a pretty solid port,
Let me pull up the picture for you.
So yeah, Resident Evil 4. While I wouldn't really consider it too much of a horror game, it is very fun to play.
Yeah.
Very fun to play. A lot of action and stuff like that.
Got
Yep,
an image right
Resident
there.
Evil 4 with Ashley, the president's daughter, screaming out to Leon, Leon.
What did y'all think of Outlast?
Oh, that is a good game.
So I played a bit of Outlast myself, and again, I'm not a real too big a fan of the cat and mouse games, but I will say Outlast was spooky. Outlast was
one
spooky.
that kind of, I think that Outlast was kind of like the 2017 adaptation of It. It wasn't scary; it was just shocking.
It was very shocking. Yeah, it was very shocking.
So, there's something I want to play real quick in Carnet, and it's the intro for Outlast 2, but it's just gonna be the audio of it.
What's up, you huge ladge? Oh, looks like we have Invoxy in the game.
We got Invoxy in here. Hey.
Hey.
Yeah.
Are you guys ready to...
He recently took my money to go buy a Fortnite burger.
Are you guys ready to hear this intro though?
Heck yeah, dude.
Alright, so quiet down a bit and I'm gonna go.
It's time to take it down a notch and listen to the tunes.
Or just end it abruptly.
If it'll play, hold on.
or just ended abruptly, you know.
I'm now Joshua.
Oh shit! I hear something. You gotta raise up the volume. There's barely audible for the.
Yeah, it's up. And there.
All right, well, there you go.
That was
Smooth.
So for back when it was just the demo of the game before the full game got released. Hold up, let me. That is loud. Hold up. Alright, so back when the demo of the game was released, during that scene, you actually saw nothing. It was just a black screen, and you just listened to the audio, and it sent chills down my spine. Just hearing everything happen.
Yeah, the first thing that spooked me was the guy in the wheelchair. You know, down the hall. He just freaking got out of his wheelchair. You know, and spook you.
It's great.
What did you think of Outlast 2?
I loved it.
I never even played Outlast 2.
Oh, dude, I mean, it seems pretty freaky already. It involved like a cult, right? It's kind of like an off-branch shoot of like Christianity, and
Pretty
like it's
much,
like kind of
yeah.
like apocalyptic too, you know?
It's honestly good in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I know like a lot of people had like kind of like a bit of like criticism, sort of storyline and everything like that.
Yeah.
You know, which like
It's gonna happen.
You can argue about like the storyline itself, but like I don't know, dude. Like it was just an interesting experience overall.
Yeah.
You know? So the part that kind of scared me out the most was just like the whole mining thing. The mines themselves were absolutely terrifying. Absolutely terrifying, dude. Like the whole thing of claustrophobia being like 600 feet under the ground. It's just, ugh.
Image on screen is an actual screenshot from Outlast 2.
Guys, I know that we passed up the Walking Dead topic a while ago, but I did just remember something that I wanted brought up. Joshua, if you wouldn't mind posting this image on the screen for me, and leave it up there for a while so that it can sink in, I'd be really happy.
Oh no.
Do it now.
I'm
Sidewalk raw. I cosplay as a person hanging themselves, please and thank you. And I say sure if you know you'll be able to survive it, you know.
Go for it.
So.
Don't suicide or anything. Got him.
Look at that image.
There we go. No, you gotta make it bigger.
That's
we go.
what I did.
Dude, gee, what am I looking at, dude? Is that like Negan furry?
Looking at furry Negan.
That's horrible, dude. Like, why would you just like cross fuse like two totally separate like matters, you know, into one?
Why not?
Take a man who can bash heads in with a baseball bat with zero compassion, and you take a fluffy furry.
Listen, brother, it's an abomination to God, dude. That thing.
Welcome to the real world.
Welcome to NHK.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Anyway. Race.
Yeah. Anyways, furry. I don't like furries, but you know, I don't know. So
We're going
aside
on.
from that offshoot there of that Negan ripoff, Outlast 2 was generally okay. You know,
I
was
loved
okay.
it. I liked the first one a lot better, but Outlast 2 was still pretty good.
I'm trying to think of one more horror game off the top of my head. Oh yeah, Dead Space.
Ooh.
Now that is a nice
Oh.
there. Dead Space was a good game. Surprisingly, there's
quite the game if I recall correctly. Again, all of these I remember like lightly playing when I was younger, but
Yeah. It's been a while, so I don't really have too much to say off the top of my head.
Yeah. I mean, I played it like
these
a year
PlayStation
ago.
2 games, I'm gonna have to rip them out eventually.
Oh yeah, I mean, like if you got a whole bunch of PS2 games, they just rip out the ISO files and just play them on emulator. You know?
Actually, the most popular PS2 emulator, PCSX2, something like that, you can actually play it directly from the disc without ripping an ISO.
Oh yeah, but like it kind of judders a bit though. You know?
Yeah, because it's disc speed.
Yeah, because
Unlike you
disc
guys, I
speed.
actually have a PS2, so
Well,
I
I got
do
a PS2
too.
too, dude.
Yeah. I've got a PS1, PS2, I've got 3 PS3s, and I've got like 3 PS4s.
Bro, you got 3 PS3s?
PS3s, dude. I
I've-
bet you have a PS Vita, don't you?
PSP.
Hey, that's respectable.
Yeah, but I've got a jailbroken PS3 and then 2 other PS3s that aren't mine, but they're in the household.
So there's an emulator on PC actually, for the PS3,
Yeah,
and I've used it to play Demon Souls. You
yeah,
know?
it's a work in progress, but it's in
Yeah,
the
it's
past
a big
year.
work in progress, but overall it's pretty solid. Like I'm getting like 29, 27 frames, you know,
Like
whenever I'm playing it.
roughly 3 to 4 years ago, when I found out about the project, it was actually terrible. Like it was just in the baby stages. But if you try it today, there's a lot of games that work now.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of games that work on it. So.
What do you guys think of Stranger Things Season 3 coming out here real soon?
I personally can't wait. I actually like Stranger Things, unlike some people.
Yeah, I never was a big fan of Stranger Things, so I'm on the opposite spectrum.
I just like it.
Yeah, man.
Really care about like generally as long as the story's good, I'm all right.
Yeah.
I'm not someone who can be too much of a critic with stuff like that.
Yeah. Although I will say, as an interesting side note, that monster from season 1 was actually inspired. From what the directors actually said, that monster design was actually inspired by Masahiro Ito's,
Yeah.
who is the director of Silent Hill. So,
That's so.
but not the director, but the art director of Silent Hill, who did all the monster designs, such as Pyramid Head and the nurses.
We got the Discord plugins working again. If you
Oh
guys,
snap! I see
you'll
that.
see the disc along with who is currently talking at the time. So you guys can go ahead and go to the grease pit and say whatever you want to say, and it'll pop up right there.
Yeah.
Sidewalk Rock says, "Add Joshua does. Can we get a welcome to the itty bitty titty community or committee? Not community.
Maybe if you ask nicely. I don't
Yeah,
know.
please. Snap, man. You gotta add in the please.
Ah, they broke. Hold on.
Please. Oh, he said please.
Let me refresh the cache and see if it'll
We
fix
rejoice
itself
to-
again. Hurry up. Discord's trying though.
Just when it gets back up, he gets shot back down. Dang.
Like
Well,
as soon as we mention it.
One thing that I think will catch everybody's attention a little bit. Let's talk about Super Smash Brothers.
Oh, Smash. Yeah, Super Smash Brothers 4, and it's back
Hey,
up.
it's back up. It's working. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to Smash 4. I never played the Wii U or 3DS version, you know. So
Yeah.
the last game I played from Smash was Brawl.
Mm.
But yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it.
I don't have the Switch yet, but I'm looking forward to it.
Buy a Switch, dude. I don't even use my Switch all that much. It's just sitting on the shelf. My little brother actually uses, you know,
Yeah.
where he plays the arms. So
Genuinely, I get that this was memed a lot, okay? And I hate to bring up a dead topic. I get that it was memed a lot, but this was something that I genuinely felt like. I genuinely feel like Waluigi deserved his spot on the roster.
God, might as well add in Bowser Head or freaking Bet on the thing. You know what I'm saying? Baby Bop Boop. You know.
The character that, regardless, everybody made it known that he belonged on Smash.
Yep.
Get an F in the chat for Waluigi being a trophy.
Dude, like, okay, I don't even get the big deal behind, like, okay, I mean, I was never really big myself, you know, so
Yeah.
I don't really care too much about like his inclusion or exclusion from the game. Although I will say, King R. Rule, all right, that is something that I liked a lot, you know, because I'm a big fan of Donkey Kong.
Welcome to Litty Bitty Titty Committee. There you go. You happy?
Sora for Smash 5.
Yeah.
Got him.
We'll get into Sora here in a minute. But let's stay on topic for Smash for just a little bit longer because I think that there's a lot of ground to cover as for that. With it coming out, when does it come out? Hold up.
Around Christmas time. It's in December.
It's around. Hold on. Wait, don't worry, Sidewalk. This will be recorded and this will be uploaded to the podcast YouTube channel, so you'll be able to go back and watch it whenever you want. Let me go ahead and get an exact date for Smash 5.
There you go. Don't worry, Sidewalk Rock. We got you.
2018. Okay, I thought it was sometime in November. Huh.
Dude, yeah, it was gonna be coming around December time. I think like in the middle of December actually. So it's literally like right up with freaking you know, Christmas time. So a lot of soy boys and you know, kids are gonna be freaking out when they get the Christmas present.
Yeah.
Looks like Santa Claus is going to be buying up all of the Super Smash Brothers. So when that drops, you guys better hurry out to the store and get your copy before everybody else does.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, Santa Claus is real, man. I mean, you gotta. He makes all the games. He has a partnership with
Santa
Nintendo,
Claus
dude.
literally makes the toys. Oh wait, no, those are the elves.
He makes the toys, dude. His elves. Listen, dude. His elves are multiracial human beings. Okay, he's got elves in China making most of the tech stuff. You got elves in Africa getting the raw materials, you know, such as the iron, you know, and all that. You got elves in the United States getting that, you know, like silicon and all that. I mean, it's a
Silicon
big
Valley.
business.
I feel like all the elves are just like parts of his brain just spread throughout the world.
Yeah.
He's
Sidewalk
doing all
Rock
of it.
says, "I'm excited that Isabel will be there, but otherwise, I don't care."
Oh.
Now, I'm gonna say this right now. I'm gonna say this right now, and then I'll keep my opinions to myself. The internet really needs to chill with Isabel and Bowsette. It needs to stop. It needs to stop.
It's time to stop.
Dude, you got no control over that, man. I mean, you know, people will be that, and people will just be people. You know, normal
Yeah.
people.
Rip.
Normies. Yeah. Facts. Yeah. Anyways, you wanna guys hit up the topic of Shane Dawson, the mind of Jake Paul?
Shane Dawson.
Of Jake Paul. Our last actual topic for the night. Shane Dawson and Jake Paul.
Ooh, where do we? Let me get a picture up for this.
Go ahead and get a nice thumbnail up there for it.
I'm gonna step away from the side here because I do not know anything involving YouTube drama. So
Episode.
I never
six,
really
I
get
think,
into
released
YouTube
last
drama
month.
myself.
Pretty much started as YouTube drama, but at this point, there's no living being who doesn't know, you know, the whole starting with the suicide forest thing, the whole neighbors being terrorized. It went from YouTube drama and it's genuine news at this point with this man.
Yeah.
He's gone to be a menace to actual society.
I mean, let me hear about it. You know, because the suicide forest thing was a very dishonorable. You know, so.
There we go. There it is.
Yep.
Of Jake Paul. So essentially what Shane Dawson's doing here. Shane Dawson is one of those YouTube. He was here when everybody was just watching for entertainment. He's one of those YouTube OGs. He's been here for all of it.
Yeah.
He's done documentaries a lot recently, like covering more controversial figures as for the YouTube community. And recently he decided to dive deep into the mind of Jake Paul. Just the mind of Jake Paul to see where he's coming from, to get the whole story there. But after digging, it went so much more than just Jake Paul. We have so many ties here, like sociopathic tendencies,
We have his older brother Logan. We can see how Jake is just kind of trying to follow in his shadow. We see almost near parental abuse going on during his childhood. He never had a father figure, and Nick Crompton, who had also associated with him, came out and said that about 90% of the things that they did was actually faked.
Yeah.
A bunch of stuff that's been piling up that's been making sense on both sides of the story. Joshua is actually caught up on the series. I'm still stuck back at part 4, so I mean Joshua would be the best about talking about this.
So I'm trying to figure out where to begin because it's a whole thing.
I think that a good place to begin would be touching on giving props to Mr. Shane Dawson, because he's there. You have most of the internet who's going to sit back and make judgments, make jokes, whatever. You got to meme on him. You got to rag on him.
Yeah, but here's.
Shane Dawson has actually stood up when he knew that it would affect his audience, because nobody likes anybody with the last name Paul. But he still stood up to get to the bottom of it, and it's actually really neat. And he has a way of making this documentary genuinely enjoyable, with genuine therapists there helping to diagnose and everything. It's actually really great.
Just the overall quality of the videos, like. If you've never watched Shane Dawson, you'd think he's just some little dude. Goodbye, Sidewalk Rock. But you'd think he's just some little dude on YouTube that you hear of once or twice, and suddenly this comes out, and it's just quality everywhere. You think there's people backing him with actual editing and all of that whole team, but it's literally all just him and his cameraman.
Nice.
Just the whole
you
thing.
Give props to him.
He's really
he's kind of proven himself to be something of a really good detective with that.
Yeah, just because it's like a lot of the stuff that he's finding, it's all been right in front of us, but no one's been paying attention to it. But he's doing what he's done with things like TanaCon or Jeffree Star when all that happened. He does full dives into everything he can get his hands on. He'll study it, analyze it, bring it up in the videos. And I think that's a really good thing, because if you don't know the full story, you can't judge.
Oh, of course, like he reminds throughout the whole thing, it's not about making an excuse for the brothers, because that's not the point. But you do have to come to a realization that everything is black and white, and he's done really good about diving into every detail.
Yeah,
so I
mentally
highly
damaged.
suggest everybody who's listening right now goes and watches. I think there's 5 or 6 parts out now.
There's 5 out currently. Part 6 is out tomorrow.
To drop these day by day, they're clearing up a lot of dust that YouTube has been lost in ever since early 2016, mid 2017. It's actually really nice.
Yeah. There's a wide variety of topics that have been brought up as a result of it. Like, for example, today being World Mental Health Day, it's an interesting topic to bring up, because obviously Shane isn't trying to diagnose him. Even the therapist said, I'm not going to diagnose him, I'm just going to figure out how he works and things like that, give my own opinion on it. But a lot of people are bringing up that he's possibly trying to diagnose him as a sociopath, even though he said he hasn't, he just thinks he might be. Like, that's an opinion, that's not diagnosing him. But there's a lot of reasons for bringing that up, the whole Mind of Jake Paul. Like, some of the videos he's gone back on, there's, like, in his family, before he started YouTube and all that, before Vine, it was a lot of competitive spirit from his dad, and a lot of be good boys from his mom, things like that. So him and Logan, they would always do everything competitively, like wrestling or football, things like that. They would always do it competitively, and that kind of creates the whole drive. Each time you do something, the next time you have to do it better and better and better, and that kind of directly translates into his YouTube videos.
Right. And one thing that I would like to bring up with people criticizing Shane, claiming that he's trying to diagnose sociopath or whatnot, you can't really. There's professional diagnosis, but we as humans, we have our own brains, and therefore we cannot help but make our own assumptions, and we activate off of that. So I have a list here of 15 common characteristics for sociopaths. We have manipulative. And I mean, that's a good first one. We constantly see these whole apology videos, crying into his hands, but making sure there's a gap, making sure you're watching, not technically, but metaphorically.
Yeah.
There's a lot of manipulation saying, "Look at me, I'm the good guy, regardless of what I'm doing here. That's endangering my own life and other people's lives." But it somehow continues to manipulate the easily manipulated. Feelings or emotions. We see that with his brother, when he literally finds a corpse in the woods and decides to laugh at it and record it. Whereas any human with any empathy would there would be a much different emotion. It's clear that things aren't clicking upstairs on the emotional spectrum. The next one is compulsive liars. There's Oh yeah, actually, no. If you guys recall, there was this incident with Elisa Violet and FaZe Banks.
Ooh, I know what you're talking
this
about.
whole abuse scandal, right? Or no, it wasn't Elisa Violet. It was actually Jake Paul's secretary, wasn't it? I don't know.
No,
Either way,
I think it was Alyssa.
they pushed this whole fake narrative that FaZe Banks had beaten someone, I forget who it was, and they pushed this whole narrative and then later admitted, "Oh no, I took it too far. I was lying."
Yeah.
Shallow emotions, that goes along with what I said before. When he does show emotion, it's very little.
Yeah.
We have I'm not going to go through all of these. We have egos, we have no guilt or remorse. It's just all of these things are clear mirrors. And so my point is, when somebody mirrors these common effects so much, you can't blame them that matches these effects so much. And so with the people who are trying to criticize Shane for making a quote-unquote diagnosis, it's not fair, because that's how the human mind works. You can't turn that off.
It's basically, you don't want to judge them, but at the same time, your mind is sitting there going, this person does this person does this, maybe I should stay away from them. That's technically your own personal diagnosis on the person.
Yeah, you make your own conclusions, dude.
Yeah.
You know.
It's mostly a survival instinct, like, hey, this is a bad person, I should stay away from them.
Yeah. I don't mean to take away a bit of the spotlight from you guys talking about this subject, but all this kind of reminds me of another infamous user, right, that was on YouTube. And this is actually an old user. This is like around the time of 2010, and that is the Mad Thad 0890. All right. And I want to go in a bit of detail for those who don't know who this guy is.
Joshua,
But pretty
can we get
much
an image up there? Can we get a profile image up there?
of Mad Thad.
Man,
Yeah. Yeah, you guys better get strapped in, because this is a wild ride right here. So picture a black weeaboo guy living on his lonesome, right? Exposing himself for having a CP in his hard drive. So
oof, that sounds...
yeah, big oof indeed. You know, like he literally like was on his Facebook, you know. And the crazy part about this was that the general appearance that he was giving out was that of a normal dude, you know, like a normal ass dude. You know, his talk and stuff like that, there's nothing delayed about it, nothing wrong with it. But when all that came up, you know, it was just like, whoa. In fact, his court documents are actually online if you can get them. Then check out the Detroit ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this guy. Yeah, sorry, what were you saying?
Is that you never know. You never, like, this man, if he didn't have that garbage anime thing overlaid, like, you wouldn't be able to tell. It can be anybody.
Yeah, it really can.
So, pretty much this dude on his Facebook was going on talking about like how to decrypt CP and all that, right? And like all the ways to access it and all that. You know, he was actually mocking, saying that how he actually has it on his hard drive and stuff like that. then he got reported on Facebook, and the FBI actually vanned his place and took his hard drives and everything. Like, they did an actual van, you know. And surprisingly, he was able to get on bail, right?
Yeah.
And if you check his Twitter, right, which is the same username, you can see the last tweet that he made 3 days before his bail would be done was that I'm back, missed my waifu. Stupid feds didn't even find my backup hard drive. Hashtag YOLO, YOLO.
Oh.
Hashtag swag. Hashtag waifu. Hashtag anime pussy. You gotta check it out, dude.
Let me get a screenshot of that up. Oh dear.
Oh yeah. Also, there's this whole other thing too. Freaking, he had this waifu, right, from school days, right, which is like this shitty fucking like novel, which is like this like shitty novel by Overflow. It was like around like 2005 and whatnot. But one his waifu was like this like one like tsundere girl, right,
Yeah.
from the place. And pretty much there's actually a video out there on the site, out there somewhere on the internet, of him having sex with his body pillow.
Ah.
So.
Oh God, no.
Why?
It's terrifying that people like this exist.
That guy, the legend. Yeah, it's crazy. But the reason why I bring this all up is because he 8 or 9 years, and he actually is able. He's getting out soon.
Dang.
You know, I think he actually like his sentence is up. So this guy is coming back into society.
Missed my waifu. Stupid feds didn't even find my backup hard drive. YOLO swag waifu anime pussy.
Oof.
Yeah. He also has a YouTube channel too if you want to check out his. But
Joshua, can we get some of his videos up on the screen?
oh no, they're just bad quality. They're just bad quality in general. It's not on par with Christian, but it's close to that. It's like similar to that area, you know.
Let's see if I can get a video up. Oh no.
So, yeah, that's Mad Thad for you, dude. Mad Thad. So,
He
yeah.
last posted 6 years ago.
Yep, it's an old YouTube channel.
Dang.
Small Jill Lamau, what is going on?
Welcome
Got
to
him.
the stream, Jill.
But like I said, it's terrifying. There's a disconnect in the human brain with some of these people. Like,
Yeah.
there's something wrong.
Yeah.
I'd be good.
Chris Chan is a beast of his own category. He really is. He really is. Yeah, you know what's the worst part to think about it is that like Chris Chan is the most documented human being as of right now in history.
Really?
Yeah, because he has videos ever since his
Adolf
childhood.
Hitler, Jeffrey Dahmer.
No, I'm talking about in his lifespan, because he has videos of himself as a child, and then it just goes on from that. He's like literally on par with like being the most well-documented human being in existence.
Thanks,
And of
YouTube.
course, YouTube would be saying to sign in. Things that piss me off. My reflection. You know what? That sounds like a personal problem. I'm sorry to hear that.
Personal problem. Let's cut to commercials now. I'm kidding.
Let's go to commercials, man.
So what?
Seriously, sponsor us. Like, somebody sponsor us. Like, we'll advertise for your toothpaste. We'll advertise for your anal cream. I don't care.
Anal cream, dude.
We got
Okay.
your anal cream here. Get ready.
We get a little bit of
Lubing up
icy
my
hot, you know.
ass with this all day.
Yeah, I know. Lube it up with icy hot, dude.
And cry.
Glue works as lube.
Oh, that and also some
No.
like, Gorilla Glue too. You know?
Gorilla glue, super glue, whatever the heck. Adhesive, whatever. Just use that. Just put it on, stick it right in. You'll never take it out again.
Never take it out again. Never ever. Forever.
Oh
yeah.
my god.
No, that's not fantastic. That's horrible. God. Ah.
I'm not in the IBTC
I don't know what that acronym stands for, but I will definitely give it a search. Yeah. So pretty much that's all of our topics that we have covered on today.
Yeah, that's all of our technical topics. Yeah.
Yeah. So everything else is just gonna
Here,
be kind of sliding off, off the script.
Are
So,
there?
everybody's free to talk. We've got Joshua. How long we been going here?
We've been going for an hour and 37 minutes, going on 38 minutes. 0 dropped frames. That's beautiful.
You wanna push to like 2 hours? I don't see anything wrong with that.
I'm down
Yeah.
for that.
I mean, I'm down for like an extra 30 minutes and then dipping off the. So.
But does the chat want to come up with any topics, maybe?
And yeah, let's just get some topics going in here. We didn't very well plan this and didn't like I want to pull in at least 2 hours average for each podcast, and
That'd be great.
I don't think we planned well enough for legalization of marijuana. Okay.
Legalization of
Smoking weed, dude.
Marijuana.
Yeah, brother.
Damn,
Yeah, I love it when I get the joint. Smoke up in there. Oh yeah. Y'all
Alright.
know in California, if you get marijuana through depression or whatever, you can't buy guns here. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
my guns over
America.
I think I'm happy where I am.
Yeah.
I think it's okay to legalize it personally. There's a lot of actual use cases.
I mean, like, yeah, there's a lot of use cases. I would say though, for every okay, federally, right, it's still legal. But if there were a bill to say to make it legal, right, I would do something similar with that of with the tobacco industry.
Yeah.
But, like, for every tax that's given to them, there'd be kind of like commercials against it and research against marijuana in the sense of recreational use. So
And,
otherwise than that, I'm pretty good.
my personal opinion, I think it's okay to use it recreationally if you're at home or in a safe environment somewhere. Obviously not out in public, but because my main thing is it shouldn't be a Scheduled 1 drug. That's my main thing.
Yeah, it shouldn't be a Schedule 1 drug.
It's above
The whole thing of drugs
opioids
is
and
dumb.
crack and all that for some reason.
Yeah. What the hell?
I do remember that.
Oh no.
That was
Gang
great.
Yeah, but that's just on my side. If I were proposing a bill to Congress.
I'd personally treat it just like cigarettes, to be honest.
Yeah.
My only exception would be no doing it in public areas. You have to be on private property.
Public
Yeah,
intoxication
that's pretty-
needs to go ahead and stay a no.
Yeah,
I
just
agree. with
Private property, and then I'm happy with recreational usage. Oof.
that. If you threaten it like cigarettes, you be hitting blunts
Getting a
every
little
2
pussy
hours.
in your
Shit, dog.
Oof.
I mean, obviously, when it comes to recreational, how are you fault? You know what I'm saying? If you use it lightly, though, you use it lightly, get a little bit of buzz, and then you're fine for the next day.
Yeah,
But,
you can microdose
if you're
it.
gonna be being a freaking druggie 24/7, then that's your fault.
Yeah, all the more power to you to fuck up your life. Let's go.
I will say though that there are also if weed was gonna be legalized, that there should be something similar to things.
I think I figured out the perfect analogy. Not cigarettes. Treat it like alcohol.
Yeah.
Perfect, right there.
Because when it comes to weed, it can be addicting at certain points.
Yeah.
However you consume it.
Well, you won't get a physical addiction to it. You can get a mental.
Yeah, you get a psychological one.
You can get a psychological dependence on it, but it's not.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the one thing a lot of people get wrong is the difference between addiction and dependence. A dependence with drugs, you can take it away and you'll be perfectly fine without it. But an addiction, like with cocaine or something, if you take it away, you've got withdrawals for days.
Yeah, in that case, then I apologize for mixing up the terminology. Then.
Yeah, it's fine. I just want to clear that up real quick. Because with
man.
weed, it's just a psychological dependence. That's all. You can take it away and you'll be perfectly fine.
Yeah, man. Human euthanasia.
Oof.
Man, essentially, who's gonna be euthanized though? You got the elderly be euthanized. People below the IQ of 50 be euthanized. Let's see what else.
Pedophiles need euthanized.
Yeah, pedophiles be euthanized.
Intentional murders need euthanized.
Yeah,
People who drink
euthanization.
and
Yeah.
drive need euthanized. And
The blacks. No, I'm just kidding. Dude, Discord's get that, dude.
Stream's over. Good night, guys.
Stream's over. Good night, folks.
No, but in all seriousness, human euthanasia, honestly, I don't know, cause like,
genuinely some people who are just too big of thorns in society to be left alive.
So I would consider like human euthanasia to be essentially another word for death penalty.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. My main thing is with human euthanasia. I'm mostly against the death sentence. The only way I would be okay with it is if whoever you're trying to keep in jail is like has a serious charge like mass murder, and they're constantly figuring out how to escape jail. Like, so, that's when you get rid of them.
Yeah, the main issue when it comes to death sentences now is because a lot of companies don't want to, provide the drugs, given to actually, do the lethal injections for inmates, because they don't want to be associated with that.
I kind of
think of it this way: an old man goes out and he fucks the kid. Okay, you can kill him, you can euthanize him, and then he's done. Or alternatively, you can leave him in jail, and your tax dollars are going to make sure he stays alive. Which one do you want?
Yeah, I completely get that. But then there's another thing that I want to bring up about that has happened before. There's been cases where people have been put on death row, and then after they were killed from death row, it was later found out that they didn't actually commit the charge, and they never pleaded guilty.
Yes, but that is so slim that it can't be an actual representation. Just kind of like.
But it's happened. That's my thing.
Third gender, where people are born with penises and vaginas. It happens, but it's so slim that it doesn't count as a third gender.
But my main thing is it still happens. Like, you're taking someone's life and they did nothing. My main thing is, unless it was a charge like mass murder or something like that, I wouldn't go for death row. I'd go for prison, possibly offshore.
So there is a good quote quoted by a founding father stating that better it be best for 100 guilty men to go free than the one innocent man to be killed.
Yeah, that's right. That's pretty much where I come from with that.
Yeah. All right, on to the next topic about controlled breeding. Not like genetic breeding that disadvantaged humans makes babies or mentally/physically retarded people. Restricting by means of like neutering, like vasectomies and tube tying, in your vast difference, just tying that shit up, to the point where you can't have a sperm go through it, got them.
I'm kind of stuck in between on this topic, because like,
a side note, we're at 8 viewers.
Nice. But
so like when it comes to like a lot of like, I guess like the main thing of like population rising, right, on Earth, a lot of it's coming from like the Asian region, like kind of like China, India, right, and kind of like a lot of like poor countries where the poor is so like the poor has no opportunity of reaching like a country like civilized like Europe, right, or like the United States or something like that. They have like no option at all or no like opportunity to even go there. What I would say about controlled breeding, I would say that kind of like have like some sort of like government thing about that, because there are a lot of like people in India and China, and like the sewage waste and general like garbage that comes out from those countries affect the planet a lot.
Yeah, I'm kind of in between on the topic though, because like there's one part of me that's like, yeah, we should maybe do this because it's getting to a point where we're running out of things. and there's a lot of bad stuff coming out of large populous areas with pretty much no control on the breeding. Then
Yeah.
there's another side of me that's like they're human beings with their own that should have their own privacy and it shouldn't be interfered with. So I think kind of the middle ground that I would probably go on with that is it if you end up with a kid that you can't care for and then they end up with a bunch of kids and things like that and you can't really care for them.
Yeah.
Like if it was a mistake, that's one thing, but if it's like something you actively were doing even though it's happened before, you know it's gonna happen again, you can't take care of them. My main thing there would be you're on your own. You made the mistake, you're on your own. Goodbye. Have fun taking care of them. That's kind of where I would go with that, because I don't want to get in the way of their privacy, their sex lives, or anything like that. I would just tell them to get out.
Got him.
Got them. Yeah, that's kind of the middle ground I would go for.
Yeah. You just got anything to add on to the topic?
You know, there comes a time in every man's life when you come to a situation where you realize you need to keep your damn mouth shut. This is one of those for me.
I feel it, dude. I feel it.
Yeah, it's a very tough topic because because for me, I agree with it, but I also don't agree with it, and I have multiple reasons for both sides. So I hate talking about it, so I look for the middle ground.
Yeah, obviously, when we go on talking about like kind of like vasectomies and like, wait a second. Okay, I vasectomies. All right. So I'll say this right here. I am pro-life on that kind of matter. You know, tube tying. That's fine. Like controlled population before the result of an embryo. That's fine. You know, but if there is an embryo in progress and in development,
Well, since
not
you
so
brought
much.
it up, I will go ahead and say that I, as well, am pro-life. After, at first, I was in a situation where I didn't really care until Hunter Avalone made a good point by showing a video that genuinely depicts just at what stage life is genuinely a thing. And so I believe after about a month and a half, I am no longer I become pro-life.
Yeah,
I
I
get
skimmed
you.
over the vasectomy part. That didn't register in my brain. So
I pretty much agree for the most part. If it's to that point, then I'm completely pro-life. But beforehand, like there's certain situations because a lot of abortions are funded by taxpayers. Believe it or not, that's under medical bills that go to the health insurance. Uh, my main thing is if it's something that wasn't supposed to happen, like if you had full on birth control or you were raped or something like that, or you might die or the child might die during the pregnancy or after the pregnancy, I'm okay with abortions, but if
With
it's
sexual assault, in the
yeah,
situation of sexual assault, the thing is, if you genuinely don't want that baby, you're going to go ahead and get that before a month and a half hits. So
yeah,
that just
that's my
wipes
thing.
that possibility out.
Yeah,
As
I
for when
agree.
they don't know that the baby is going to kill the mother, I believe an exception is fair because
It,
that's one that you don't know until it's almost too late. But I think that
yeah,
is genuinely the only exception for
yeah,
having one after a month and a half.
yeah, I agree with that.
so yeah. Surprisingly, actually, if you check out the Democratic and Republican platform, this is kind of the issue too when it comes to the simplification of kind of like politics into two-party systems. One side is all pro-life, and then another side is all pro-choice to the point of where it being 9 months, like full 9 months in. So that's what you get for trying to simplify politics. You know.
Exactly, exactly.
Yep.
Because we're trying to dumb it down as much so that everybody has a role in it, and it's an issue.
Yeah.
Yep, agreed,
And
100%.
interesting enough, while third parties don't really essentially like win when it comes to elections, they do play an important role when it comes to essentially the government because they bring in new ideas, which
Yeah,
eventually is integrated into the two major parties.
Yeah.
You know, such as the whole thing, environmentalism and stuff like that. Like in the 70s, that wasn't even a concern. You know, so yeah.
Joshua, I'm about to send you an image to put up on screen. I'm gonna
All right.
do that for me. Here we go.
Yeah, I'm gonna be on here for a little bit of 8 minutes, and then from that, I'm gonna be dipping out, folks. So
8 minutes left on the podcast.
8
Okay,
minutes
no,
left.
that's not the right image. That's not the right image.
Okay. Yeah, we're
Go ahead and put that up too.
we're going on 1 minute and 53. Or 1 hour and 53. Wow. I kind of fucked up there.
Do me a favor and put this up on screen for me.
So there's this one and then that one. So this will just kind of shuffle through the two. Be like a 5-second slideshow or something like that. Yeah, there's that.
The baby.
Weeks. 6 weeks.
It's a little
Right there.
baby, dude.
I kind of want to remove that first one.
What is that? What is that? That's nice. Here, can you post this too, Josh? I'm gonna DM it to you right now.
Alright.
That is
Switching between
Oh,
a
no.
6-week-old fetus that's about to be aborted and a little puppy dog.
Yeah, remove the puppy.
my son. If it's between the mother and the child, it's a exception. Nothing else, though. My son. My son. So
Yeah, about 6 weeks in, that's pretty much when I'm like, nope, you're not taking my tax-paying money. You're
there
gonna,
it is.
unless you're gonna die or the baby's gonna die, it's a no.
Yep. Can we get a shout out to Kokoro Katsura, the freaking generic waifu trash Mad Thad got himself into? Can we give a shout out to that and the shitty fucking play novel of School Days?
Oh, no.
Fucking
Here we
fan,
go.
dude.
Fellas. This was a really successful show we had here tonight.
Yeah?
Man, I'll definitely do it again.
We'll be back. We'll be back next week, won't we?
Yeah.
I believe so.
Yeah, the time's gonna
Alright,
fluctuate.
well, with that being said-
Yeah, sorry. Oh shit.
Thank you guys so much for listening in to our first podcast. And
Yeah, dude. The Grease and Devil podcast featuring Joshua Does, and pretty sure that's gonna be added in with Grease and Devil and Joshua because
Please?
he was the one that did all the streaming services. So big shout out to
Right,
him.
gee.
Everything.
We're gonna have to edit this nice image that we got going on here and add a brother in.
Yeah.
Add a brother in, yeah.
So pretty
So,
much
I'll do that in the back burner, dude.
everything you see on screen right now, except for the artwork, except for the Joshua Does logo, everything else, completely me that set it up. So you got the Twitch chat, Discord chat, you got the Discord voice, you got the Discord links, pretty much the whole setup of it, and then also the glitch effect for the intro scene before we
Yeah,
got
that was
started.
pretty nice. Yeah, that was a very nice surprise there.
The image you see in the background right there, that was the work of Devil setting it up. And then the glitch effect, that was completely me, including the text on it. So yeah.
So thank you all for coming. If you enjoyed this podcast and you want to listen back to any highlights, this will be up on the the Devil and Grease podcast channel, which I'll be announcing a link for it here soon in the Grease Pit. So thank you all for coming. Have a fantastic day, and as Devil says,
Stay casual.
Because Kokoro Katsura is coming for you. She's
All right.
coming, and Mad Thad's breaking out of jail, dude.
tropic skies, I found a